Hello, it's the Gemini again. In the last video, I showed you how I snap and clean my nubs. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I detail up my kits to upgrade the look of it, make it more dynamic. I'll be detailing up my kit with some painting markers and panel lining markers. They're fine tipped, and I'll show you how to make it easier to use dry transfers and some stickers. And then I'll show you how I use my water slide decals. So you've done a pretty decent job with snap building your kit, but you kinda wanna upgrade or you wanna step up your game with the details of your kit, make it look a little more dynamic and less plain. As you can see here, the kit does look good, but it's kinda missing some stuff. So we're gonna give a little more depth to our kit with some Gundam markers. These are the fine tip ones. We'll use gray on the white parts so it's not that harsh of a shadow. And we're gonna use black on the darker parts to make the lining more pronounced. Using panel lining markers are pretty straightforward. You just have to follow the outline of the panels and shade where you want to shade. So here I'm just going around the part and trying to cover all the lines that I need. It's best to try to do it as clean as possible so you don't have much cleanup to do afterwards. So here I've shaded up all the parts where I want to shade, giving it a little more depth, and it makes it a little more realistic, I guess. So here, compared to the rest of the kit, it looks much more detailed and much more dynamic, like I said in the beginning. So it's definitely an upgrade. Next, we're gonna use black panel lining markers for the darker parts. And so you can see here that I kind of went over, and it's okay since it's still wet. I just wiped it off with my finger. It's pretty easy to clean up if you make mistakes with panel lining. Here's another take on the darker plastic without and with panel lining. You can see the details pop a little more. So you can just repeat the process all over the kit, filling up all the details you want filled in and making all those details pop, making it more dynamic and giving it a lot more depth. I highly recommend doing panel lining. It's very simple and very low effort to do a good job of it. Now I'm gonna show you how I use my peel and stick stickers. A lot of builders actually hate these, and I did too, but I kinda grew into them. As you can see here, I'm using some tweezers. It's best to use some kind of tool like this or a toothpick to help you align it properly on the kit, because your fingers are just gonna be too thick to apply them properly and you're gonna have a bad time realigning the stickers. It's actually bad to realign stickers because the adhesive and the surface kind of gets crumpled, so it won't be as good as just putting it on properly on the first try. Even though I do like using stickers now, I still don't like using them on the darker plastic because you can really see the outlines like here. But on this gray here, it's kind of not that bad, so I went on ahead and put all the stickers I wanted to on this kit. Now I have here some foil stickers. These are kind of the same but also kind of different. With foil stickers, you're gonna want to be a little more careful. It's best not to handle them too much. Because of the foil material, it's gonna be really easy to dent it and crease the surface. So you're gonna also want to use a Q-tip or a cotton bud to push it onto the part so it doesn't get folded and get ugly on the kit. You can see here that it's stuck on the kit, nice and clean, no creases, no folds. So give those cotton buds a try. So on to the dry transfer decals. A lot of people have a hard time with these, so I'm gonna show you the hack that I have with it. If you're new to dry transfer decals and you haven't tried it before, you're gonna wanna try to use the ones that go on the flatter surfaces of the kit. So just cut out the decal that you need or you want to use. So this is where my hack comes in. Don't just lay it over and rub it in. If you use a piece of tape on one side of the decal, it's gonna be easier for you to line it up properly and helps you not have a crooked decal. So just be patient with it and line it up the best way you can. And if you think that it's lined up properly, use another piece of tape to secure it in place. And you may now commence the rubbing. You can see here I'm using the back of my hobby knife, but you can also use a coin or the back of your nail. Any kind of rounded hard surface would probably work fine. Make sure you get all the nooks and crannies of the decal, so when you're done, you won't have any part of the decal peeling off. Looking pretty good. Nice and smooth, if I do say so myself. Again, align it with a piece of tape on the part you want to put the decal on, and secure with another piece of tape once you're done, and commence the rubbing. I just figured this out because whenever I tried to hold the decal in place with just my hands, I would run into having the decal rip and tear apart. So if you've had trouble with dry transfer decals, I hope this helps. So the kit looks pretty good now with some panel lining, stickers, and dry transfer decals. So let's move on to some water slide decals. For this sheet of water slide decals, we're gonna use the spiky shoulder armor. Some advanced builders prefer these over the dry transfer decals. There's just less risk with scratching the paint because there's no rubbing involved. To use them, you're just gonna have to cut them out like the dry transfer decals. And then after that, you're just gonna have to soak it in water for about 30 to 60 seconds. And when they're done soaking, you're gonna be able to slide them off the sheet and onto the parts that you wanna put the decals on. You can see here I'm just using a cotton bud to adjust the water slide decal. And since it's soaked and it has to set on the part, you can adjust it to wherever you want, wherever you need. And you can see here it's not actually laying properly on the part because the part is kind of rounded and the decal is kind of just like a sheet. So for rounded parts, you can use the Mark Softer. Specifically, this is the Mr. Hobby Mark Softer. It helps melt the decal into the shape of the part you're putting it on. But as you can see here, it doesn't actually work all the time. The shape of the part is just too obscure for the decal to lay flat on the part. So it's a no for the pinstripes, but for the White Wolf logo, I think it's gonna work fine. So same process of soaking and Mark Softer. Just gently squeeze out all the excess fluid from the decals, the water, and the Mark Softer. And when you're done, you're gonna have a pretty good decal on your part. So if you're new to using water slide decals, I suggest using the regular symbols first. You're gonna have to be a really skilled builder for the pinstripes to work. Now that we're done with lining and decaling, we're gonna paint the mono eye to make it pop. I'm using some generic paint markers, but you can use some regular Gundam markers if you have them. It's just that these are the ones that I have on me right now. So I isolate my part on an alligator clip so it's easier to paint. So just gently brush the paint onto the part. It'll look a lot better if you do it in a uniform direction. And when you're done painting, just leave your part to dry for about an hour. So those aren't the only details you can add in on your kit. You can see here in the manual that the insides of the thrusters are supposed to be in red. And on the kit itself, it's actually just in black. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint them in red, just to make them pop. I'm just using the same brand marker and I'm just gonna go all over the part inside. And here are the thrusters all done with the red paint. Really nice. Gives it a lot more character. With the painting markers, you can actually add more details to other parts. But for this kit, it's just gonna be the thrusters and the mono eye. There's actually a sticker for the mono eye, but I just wanted to paint it to make it look a little better than just having a sticker on that. So those are all the tips that I have in detailing your kits. Like I said in my previous how-to video, I'm not a pro. This is just how I come to do things. I just share my methods so that people get an idea of what they can do with their kits. If you guys know other or better ways to detail Gunpla, please leave them in the comments. I know a lot of people would love to learn the methods best for them. I hope you guys learned something here, and I hope the people that haven't tried detailing give these methods a go. As you can see here, some simple detailing really gives a lot more presence to your Gunpla. Gonna make it look a little more dynamic and give it more character. And trust me, if you have a detailed Gunpla right in front of you, it's gonna be super satisfying. Especially if you know that you're the one that made it. Well, that's it for this how-to video. Thanks for watching. Bye!